First off, I would like to thank the Rabbi David Biton, for having me in your synagogue tonight to speak. I'd also like to thank Sunflower Cafe for donating all the food tonight. There's a Mishnah in Masechet Sanhedrin that says, Bishbili nivra ha'olam. The world was created for me. I've heard this concept, this saying many times in my life. But the more I think about it, it becomes very difficult to actually fathom. The whole world was created for me. That means every place, whether I'm living here or a place that I'm never going to go to, every blade of grass, every person, they were all created for me? That seems very difficult to imagine. Is that what you're telling me? And the answer is yes. Why? So that you can bring light to the world. We're meant to give over our good to the world. And as hard as it seems to believe that we can give over our good to the whole entire world, it's easier than you can imagine. And I'll give you an example. Imagine you take 1 minute out of your day and you make somebody feel good. Now that good feeling that they felt, imagine they're interacting with 10 people and they give over that positive energy. And then they interact with another 10 people and they give over that positive energy. That's already 100 people that because of your 1 minute of treating somebody with kindness, now 100 people are affected. Now let's take it to the next level. Imagine somebody gets involved in chesed, where they help out 100 people. Now those 100 people now have a positive energy. And they're giving it over to another 100 people, and then another 100 people. What's 100 times 100 times 100? 1 million people. You could have an effect on 1 million people based on you giving over positive energy. Now imagine the contrast, where a person gives off negative energy. I don't want to talk about it for too long because I'm not a fan of negativity, but I just want to give you a little example of what the Torah has to say about it if we want to get a little deep. Can we get a little deep? Let's get a little deep. Do you know where the concept where death came from? Death wasn't always supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be death. Adam was created as a perfect being. He was completely pure, and he was in this world. He was not supposed to die. But what happened? Hashem gave him a rule. He said, do not eat from the tree of knowledge, from the Etz HaDa'at. And what did he do? He ate from it. What happened when he ate from it? When he bit into that fruit, or whatever it was, we don't exactly know, there's a couple of different interpretations, but when he bit into that, he brought sin into the world. And how did that affect the world? Now there's sin inside of his body and inside of his soul. So Hashem tells him, your body is going to have to go back to the ground from which it came. And your soul is going to have to go up from which it came. And they're going to have to go through a process of cleansing process. And then once they're ready, they're going to come back and they're going to be good again. Which is what Techiyat HaMetim is. When the Mashiach comes, there's going to be a revival of the dead. But not only did he affect himself, the world was also affected. So the Derech Hashem actually says that after 6,000 years, the world is going to have to also go through a destruction process. And that's what Olam Haba is. Once it gets back in, it's now revived and it's now pure, and we can now live a pure life. So you see, the action that he did caused the whole entire world to head in a certain direction. So now that we learned about our good and positive effects that we can have on the world, and our negative effects that we can have on the world, the question is, how do we maximize having the best effect in the world? And the answer is, and if you can learn this and understand this, then you hold the key to success. And that's realizing that you're an individual created with very unique traits. No two people are alike. Everybody is different. And you have to realize what makes you different and what makes you special. And when you think about it and you know exactly what makes you great, then you maximize on all of your characteristics and you become great. And you make this world great. There's only one challenge. When you decide, hey, I'm not everybody else. I'm not a sheep, I'm my own person. And you know what that is? Vulnerability. When you follow all the sheep, very easy. You know why? Because nobody could say what you're doing. What are you doing? Nobody could say what you're doing is wrong, because everybody does it. But when you say, no, I have to do my own thing, I have to be great in my own way, then all of a sudden you're telling people, this is what I am, and this is what I want to do. And if you can get past that, usually people can judge, but when they do, you tell them, I'm very happy with what I'm doing, and that's what I want to do. And I'll give you an example. Me, for example. A lot of people I know, they get into business, they learn Torah, they could get into business, but people told me, Dave, you enjoy speaking, you enjoy looking for the truth, why don't you take those qualities and do something with it? So I said, yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should start giving speeches, and if I can inspire people, I'm more than happy to. It's not usually the path that a lot of people take that aren't rabbis. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not looking to really become a rabbi. I'm just looking to grow as a Jew. But if I can inspire people, why not? If I can give over a Devar Torah, why not? I want to grow, and I want to grow with Hashem, and that's what I want to do. And if people can learn to grow with Hashem in their own unique way, then they can maximize on who they are. In my opinion, the biggest sin is the lack of self-confidence. Because when a person lacks self-confidence, he's telling Hashem, I know you created me, but I think you made a mistake. I don't think I'm good enough. Who are you to think that you're not good enough? Who are you to lack self-confidence? Hashem knew what he was doing when he created you, and he created you exactly the way he wanted you to be. And realize that. So when you decide and you feel let down and you feel like life is too hard, realize Hashem knew it. And every morning when you wake up and you say Birkot HaShahad and you say Shenatan Li Kol Sorki, realize He gave you everything that you need to be great. Yeah, Ha'olam Nivra Bishbili. When you realize your self-worth, when you realize how lucky you are and that Hashem is your God, that's the type of gift that a God, an infinite being, gives you. It's a gift that's so great that you can't even comprehend that it's a gift. Ha'olam nivra bishbili, this whole world is for me, how can it be? Yeah, that's the kind of gift He gives you. That's what an infinite being has to offer His people. So walk around, breathe. Let's not always be nervous sometimes. Feel positive. Feel great. In fact, I'm going to give everybody a homework assignment tonight. You know what that is? Talk to your husbands, talk to your wives, talk to a family member, or even talk to yourself. And say, what am I great at? What makes me valuable to this world? And you should write it down on a piece of paper, or you should write it down on your phone. And then you'll be able to have that with you. And try to figure out, if I decide to take what I'm interested in and my qualities, whether it's being creative, whether it's searching for the truth, whether I'm good at speaking with people, whether I'm driven, whatever it is, write that down. And say, this is what I need to do to be my best self. And I want to make one more point. Realize one thing, and this is important to live with also. Hashem doesn't punish us. When Adam made that sin, Hashem didn't punish him. It was a consequence for what Adam did that Hashem now has to fix it. Now you have to go back to your body has to go back to the ground. Your soul has to go up because we have to purify you. That's not a punishment. A punishment is when the elementary school teacher yells at the student and says, if you fight with Johnny, then you're going to get suspended. You have to go in the corner. That's a punishment. It's just an inconvenience so that you don't do it again. Hashem would tell you, don't fight with Johnny because he's going to punch you and you're going to walk around with a little bruise and you're going to have a Band-Aid on your face and it's not going to be too pleasant. And if you listen to him, then maybe you'll realize, hey, he makes sense. And the more you learn, the smarter you get. That's why people get addicted to Torah. So realize this. I'm going to end off with this. Ha'olam bishbili nivra ha'olam. The world was created for me. That does not mean that you own everything in this world. That means in your world, there's a set of rules. There's laws to follow. There's people. There's a society, and you have to be within that society. And if you can do that, if you can maximize on being yourself with Hashem's help, then you can maximize your world. So Be'ezrat Hashem, may we all realize our true potential and maximize our world and make our world great. Hazaku Baruch.